This is where sports meets culture, confidence, and the conversation. Welcome to the Sports Girlie Podcast, the space where we break down the game beyond the scoreboard. Hosted by sports media multi-hyphenate Jeanae Robinson. That's me. And this is where athletes, creators, professionals, and fans come to talk identity, ambition, and what it really means to own your game. From the Caribbean to the world, this is the Sports Girlie Podcast. Hello, sports people. Yes, you. The ones on the sidelines, the ones in the DMs, the ones who think that sports media is just vibes, outfits, and interviews. Well, spoiler alert, it is not. Because while sports looks glamorous online, behind the scenes, it's a workplace with rules and consequences. Today's episode is the do's and don'ts of the sports space, also known as the things nobody warned you about until you mess up and suddenly you're not getting called again. Let's save you the stress. So, we'll be starting off with the do's because staying booked, respected, and unproblematic, that's the real flex. Now, let me say this gently. Walking into the sports space unprepared is like showing up to exams with all the confidence in the world, but you don't have any notes. Cute? No. Your main objective is to know the league, know the space, know the athletes, and know what happened the last time the event was shown. Because nothing really humbles you faster than asking a question Google could have answered. Back in our exclusive episode, when I was talking about my memory of Donald Oliver, I never mentioned, but I can remember him saying this vividly. Donald was just like, okay, Jeanae, so you're on the TV. And at that time at Sportsmax, we had a prompter. We had we had like a screen that was showing us the graphics. So we would just do a overlay, well, a voiceover, I should say, right? And it would come up with the promos, it'd come up with the graphics, and like it would be like Manchester United versus Manchester City at whatever venue. And he'd be like, okay, Jeanae, so you're going to repeat everything that the people are also seeing on the TV? No. Give them something else. Like, some say Manchester is blue, some say Manchester is red, but they'll face off this Sunday at XYZ. Like, you give one, in a case like that, you kind of would be talking about the colors of the team. So now you're learning something different other than the fact that it's Manchester City and Manchester United. And you'd have to figure it out. Which one is blue, which one is red? Like, you're giving the fans more to talk about. Why am I going to Google? It's really true, I should say, that nothing humbles you faster than asking a question Google could have answered or doing something that people are seeing. Give them some dimension, some depth, because you're kind of pretty just basic otherwise, right? Now, the second do, and I'm going to give you some points under the do's and some points under the don'ts. So the second point is to respect your role. Now, if you're only nice to people with titles, that's a red flag. And let me tell you something, nothing to me like a team, like Sportsmax's team, CVM's team, even working when I like working with teams. I don't like working just me alone. Here's why. Community matters. And you see, when you have this isolation mentality where you can do everything on your own, you're not going to reach nowhere. Because each one helps one, and that's how we get better at what we're doing. If anybody in Jamaica, for the Jamaican listeners, knows of the camera Rastaman Tingle, I call him Rastingle, and he does track meet and he does football matches. Now, Tingle is one of the most animated cameramen, and I have the utmost respect for that man because that man, he holds a role of how I look on the screen, right? 2, he spoke so much life into me. And I just believe that people feed off of respect. right? So the cameramen, they matter. The kitmen, they matter. The intern holding the clipboard matters. The sports, some may say, is a small world. And trust me, people talk. So you see, if you treat somebody bad, and then you go over there to treat somebody else bad, or you did say something about somebody at one time, I guarantee you, them probably know. Or they have an idea of it. Like, people talk, the space is small. So it's just our objective to be nice always. Because there's not a dollar sign on that. It's a free act. And it's just the right thing to do. Be respectful of everyone's role. Now, another one of the do's that we should do is have personality, but keep it professional. So yes, of course, be fun, be stylish, be yourself. Have you seen my ambassadors? If anybody knows Crystal Walters is one of the most, she's a fashionista when it comes on to a match day, right? My sister, Avery Campbell, right? When it's match day, super finals, keeping it cute, but we're going to look good. Be yourself. That's the point. Don't try to be someone else. If you're the girl that just likes a simple jeans and a nice top with some sneakers, just wear it properly. Be yourself. Have personality. Keep it professional, right? Don't do things that are just weird. No. But remember, at the end of the day, friendly does not mean careless. You just need to have boundaries. You don't need to be everybody's friend. Read the room. Not every moment is a content moment. Not every joke needs to land. Professionalism is still cute. And it's something that should become a trend again. Be the trend. I promise. I promise, I promise, I promise. So don't be afraid to be yourself. If you're a quirky girl, if you're a rated, but time and place is very important. Now, me, I love a good joke. I will sit down with the guys, I'll sit down with the girls. Let's sit down and talk about hair. Let's sit down and talk about nails. Let's argue about a football team. The man, they must probably pressure me about something else. Let us get down and be real and have personality. But you see, when it's time to work, and for example, my friends are in the commentary booth, my other friends are in the, in the production space where they're directing. You have my other friends that are doing the floor manager, and we're all friends and we all have a lot of fun. But when it's time to work, it's time to work. And I think that's why we do our job so well, because at the end of the day, one day synergy, just like athletes on and off the field, right? When we're on the job and when we're not on the job. And that brings me into our fourth do, which is to protect your brand. Everything you post, everything you say is a receipt. Everything that you do is a receipt. The last time somebody sees you is, what's that saying? Your last work is your best work or something like that, right? The last time I went to a Jamaica Premier League game, I wore a pink hat, a pink sweater, I think, pink Crocs, and some jeans, and my phone case is pink. That's me rocking the Sports Girlie without really, it's not really something I would say I thought about, but in hindsight of me doing this, I'm like, yeah, Sports Girlie a rep, regardless. You get me? Because the last time you see me, that's my receipt. Everything I post on the internet is a receipt. Everything, your captions, your comments, that it was just a joke tweet, everything mattered. Let me give you a story. I remember when my mom just got onto Instagram. And you know, how Instagram has the option where you can pick a song to put over your post. So I was just like, Jeanae, you can't be doing certain things. I don't know if it ever happened to you, you have your auntie or somebody important in your WhatsApp so you don't post certain things, right? And that convicted me to the highest degree. I just always, to the point that I was just like, you know what, I'm going to follow about my mom, because if I can't post something that my mom can see, I probably shouldn't be posting it. So anything y'all seeing, my mom's seeing, right? Act like someone important is watching you because one day they probably will be. And I am testament to that. I have a picture in my phone of one of my co-hosts that I've worked with at Sports Max and another host. They were at a schoolboy football match, and that was when I was in lower six. So at the time, I would have been working with an up-and-coming brand, right? And I took a picture of the field, the tent. Sports Max always had their little tent. And I took a picture, and I was like, one day, I'm going to work there. I can't wait until, I can't tell you guys a secret, but I have a picture, and I probably will post it on my Instagram story for the listeners so that you guys can get the reference. And it was like, I'm going to work there one day. And those same people that I took that picture of when I was in lower six are the same people that when I was in my first year of university, I was working with. And now we are like really close, right? Sometimes you just got to believe that you will eventually get there. You got to own your game. Everything you post is literally a receipt. And number 5, build real relationships. It's something that I am glad I learned because networking is not begging. And it's definitely spamming people with, hey, hon, hey, girl, right? It's showing up, following up, and saying thank you. And I can openly say, if I'm interacting with a woman in this space, it's really not to get anything from you, right? I either see value in you, I either believe that you are also a change maker. I'm not a selfish person as it comes on to my role in the space because I don't want to do what everybody's doing. That's just a lot of things to do. I want time to do other things that I like to do. Sports is just one element of me. And I think in another podcast episode, I'll talk about that. But building real relationships with people that are not for an ulterior motive or for the fluff, actually supporting them along their journey, whether male or female, actually supporting them, actually showing up and showing your gratitude for them. People don't just hire talent, they hire trust. And if you can't be a trustworthy person to your fellow peer, you won't be able to be trusted by a company. A company needs, that's why companies have core values, because there are things that people need to innately adhere to in order to function in this space, right? And it's no different with the sports space. It's probably a more fluid space. You probably don't see the same coworkers frequently all the time. But when you do, show them some respect. And if you actually have real relationships and friendships, there's a way to be honest with criticism. Any of my mentors have been honest and still have an undertone of love, even though it may come off very harsh. But they respect me because at the end of the day, they know the direction in which I want to go. It's the same wish I would have for everyone out there listening right now. Form real relationships. Don't just talk to somebody because you want to be associated to somebody. Because the truth is, that one will show after a while. And 2, it's not sustainable. So real relationships is what carries you far away because you know when someone has your best interest at heart. And with that being said, now we're going to turn our attention to the don'ts because this is where people usually fumble the bag. Now, the first don't is to move like you're owed access. Being in the room is privilege. It's not a personality trait. And the sports space doesn't owe you the interviews. They don't owe you the reposts. And it definitely doesn't owe you a platform. You earn it and you stay humble. You work through the processes. You go through it. You fail and try again and sometimes fail publicly and have to try again publicly. You're not owed anything in this space. Of course, you may have people that will just not like you either because of intimidation or whatever the case may be. But even them, they don't owe you nothing. So you do this because you want to do it. You earn the rightful respect. And you just stay humble. I guarantee it's not that hard. Don't burn bridges. Subtle shade is still shade. I believe in that. And in an industry this small, it always comes back. It literally always comes back. And this goes not just for people in media, it goes for athletes, this goes for girls. Like, stop. Subtle shade is still shade. People are going to talk. It just doesn't make sense. Save yourself. Protect your future, even when you're upset. Sometimes silence is the loudest flex because you actually have no time to deal with that. You know? Going over these pretty quickly, don't overstep the access. Earlier I said you should move like you're old. Now, you see when you get that access, chill. Just because you can post it doesn't mean you should post it. Certain things you shouldn't repost. Certain things people should even see are engagement associated to. Locker rooms are not content. Private conversations are not content. Group chats are not content. Access is a privilege, not a storyline. And it shouldn't be something that's romanticized in such way, right? If I confide in certain people about certain things, it should stay there. So it shouldn't be, oh, you know, the other day I was talking with Jeanae and her, and they were, what are you doing? Are you crazy? Stop. So don't overstep access because it is a privilege into people's lives. And we are in an age and stage where saying certain things, bringing up certain people's names should be something that's consensual because access is privilege. It's not something that should seem as if I'm looking at me as somebody worth of something in society because I'm associated to. No. You're worth in society because you're worth in society. Anyways, the fourth don't confuse clout with credibility. Going viral doesn't mean you're valuable. Skill lasts longer than trends, and your work ethic lasts longer than the hype. So be cute, but be good. Not because everybody is seeing you means that what they're seeing is something good. I don't know if that makes sense. If I'm saying it makes sense. But a viral moment sometimes is the worst moment. Sometimes it's not always a good viral moment. And sometimes people will change their view because what they're seeing and how it's being interacted with just looks a little crazy, you know? So be cute, be good, and remember that your skill and who you are lasts longer than a trend. That leads me into everybody wants to be that girl immediately. And this is why you shouldn't rush the title. Because growth takes time and shortcuts, they show. So it kind of ties into what I was saying earlier. You know your work, but respect your season. I'm 24 in this sports space and I've worked with major media brands and major corporate brands. But remember, and I think in another podcast, Roshane was saying, people can move the goalposts. Stop looking at, the limit that people have on you. You don't need to rush the process because sometimes where people have you versus where you have yourself, you're going to take a little bit of time. And it's okay to take a little bit of time. Because you see, when you get certain things right, you see, when you move on to the next phase, you won't need to review or look back because it's so solidified in you. You know what to do. What you did in class 4 is not what you're going to do in class 1. The work is going to be harder. The load is going to be heavier, right? What you do in your first year of media is not what you're going to do in your third year of media. I started off being a producer and dealing with the graphics until eventually my co-workers was like, you need to go on TV. That's what you want to do. Like, me never start. Well, let's pop out the Creole for a little bit. Me never start sports media with all of the flashy lights and the makeup and the blah, blah, blah. No, I was behind the scenes doing the hard work, right? So don't rush the title. It will come, especially if you're passionate about it. It takes time, it takes pruning, it takes perfection. Not because I go on TV means I had a great day on TV. Sometimes I have a horrible day on TV. So regardless of the fact that I'm on TV, I still have things I need to work on. Because the ultimate, in my case, host would be somebody that can go on TV, make no mistakes, look professional. You can see the experience on them. I like the growth, right? So let me be honest. I've learned some of these lessons the easy way, and some of them I've learned the humbling way. And if this episode saves you even one awkward moment, one burned bridge, or one missed opportunity, then my job is done. So here's the tea. The sports space is always watching, even when it's quiet. Be prepared, be respectful, and definitely be intentional. Because when you leave the room, your name should still sound good. You know you love the game, so own your game. XOXO, Sports Girlie. That was the Sports Girlie Podcast. If this conversation spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it, subscribe, and leave a review. Follow us on all platforms at The Sports Girlie for more conversations that go beyond the game. Until next time, stay confident, stay evolving, and always own your game.